Hey, no, the light in here is terrible. Hey, it's Ashley Noel here, and you can hear a sizzle in the background. Today is the first day of a long week at school, so I am going to go to school. I study massage, by the way. I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to have a really nice lunch and sit down and study and get ready for the coming week because we have a lot of intensive clinical concepts to go over. So anyway, to kind of prepare for this week, I got 3 pounds of local grass-fed beef liver, and I do this every once in a while. I'll get a bunch of it, and here it is. So yeah, it's actually really good. You can have it raw. I'm not a raw carnist anymore. Like, I've never really considered myself a raw carnist, but I'll show you that it's very easy and very tasty to eat raw meat. And I've done this before on live streams. So let me just kind of get my little knife here. Okay. So this is a Cutco knife. And I'm just gonna take a little piece off. They come in these really beautiful smooth fillets. And so I'll show you how they come, just in case anybody's ever tried to eat liver and they were like, oh, I don't know how to get it. I don't know what it comes like. It comes like this. It's very attractive. It's very mushy in texture. You could see it doesn't hold up, kind of like a muscle, you know, like a T-bone or a ribeye. It's very different. So you'll have this little fascia around some of it, and it's a thick skin. It's a type of connective tissue that protects it, okay? So this is a hard part to eat. Like, it's very difficult to eat. So what I would want to do is rip that fascia off or get like a smoother part that's a lot easier to cut. Okay, see how easy? I mean, I just cut that off of a big fillet. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Raw, down the hatch. Now, before in live streams, I've eaten raw liver, and I've described it as hazelnut butter. And I had a comment on that, like rebutting me, like challenging me. And I'm like, actually, I'm not talking about Nutella hazelnut butter at all. I'm talking about the nuances in the fat from this. It's like a creamy, nutty nuance that is not present in Nutella. Do not confuse me. Nutella is crap. Don't eat Nutella. So I'm just taking a little bit more. See, the connective tissue is so thick, but this is what happens when you try to eat it with the connective tissue on. You have to grab the connective tissue and pull. And that texturally, for a foodie, is not that appealing because it's very much like if you were to take an orange segment, grab onto it with your teeth, suck and pull, you get all the little pops of the juices from all of the tiny little pulpy bits inside of the orange segment. And it makes sense to a vegan to do that because you just get a rush of like sugar and it's pleasurable instantly. But for this, if you're new at this, you never want to eat it that way because it'll gross you out. And that's just the way it is because we're not conditioned to eat this way. Okay, so thanks everybody who's in the live stream. I just got liver on my mouse. Ew. That is gross. Okay, so I'm gonna pop up the live chat. Oh my God, my hands. My hands. Okay. So Pootie Pie Felix, hello. Ying Wai, hello. Extra salty? Thumbs up. Pootie Pie Felix, raw. Damn. Yeah, raw. It makes me feel really good. Here we go. Another little bit. I'm telling you, it's like, and I just want to say, I'm extremely grateful to this animal here. I'll show you all 2.5 pounds of it. I got this at Whole Foods. And it's funny because I walked up to the meat counter and I was like, hey, do you guys have any liver? I don't see any over here. And he was like, the dude was like, we were just talking about liver. And I was like, yeah, what were you guys talking about? He goes, that nobody gets it. I was like, yeah, I get it. I make liver pate out of this. I had a conversation with Mike, the Heal Your Gut guy, and I give him my liver pate recipe. You can ask him for it, or you can ask me for it if you want it. I make it without alcohol. And I also use, my secret ingredients are fennel seed. I make like a distillation, kind of a condensed tea out of fennel seeds. And I use alcohol-free vanilla to replace that kind of bourbon flavor. How many of you guys, I see like 5 of you are with me. That's awesome. How many of you have had raw liver? I'm going to have some more. Oh, okay. Share the pate recipe? Okay. Hey, would you ever blend raw liver in a shaker smoothie? Veal liver? Okay. I'll share my recipe with you. How do you guys want me to share this? Ying Wai, how do you want me to share the recipe? I can email it to you. Do you want to put your email in there? And extra salty, you like veal liver? I've never had veal liver before. This is calf liver. I know it sounds sad, but it's a whole other topic of discussion, right? But this liver is my life. I feel so good when I'm on this. I'm in the middle of a move. If you guys were in my apartment right now, you'd see boxes all over the place. So I also attend school full time. I try to work part time, and I need this stuff. How much did I pay for this? I ordered 3 pounds at Whole Foods. I paid $18.33 for 3 pounds. All right. Okay. So I have your email address. My mouse has like liver all over it. It's so gross, Ash. Okay. I'm gonna email you, Ying Wai, the recipe. I want you to friend me on Facebook, okay? I have never like advertised my Facebook, whatever, publicly. You don't have Facebook? That's probably best. That's probably best. That's fine. I have your email address, so I'll just send you a personalized email. How about that? So I'll send you my alcohol-free keto pate recipe that I use this calf liver with. Somebody here said something else about liver. I don't remember what it was. Yes. Okay. Nelson Fernandez. Nelson Fernandez. That's a very easy name. I don't know why I had trouble with that. I would definitely blend it in a smoothie, but I don't have a need to right now because I'm fine just eating it like this. But if that's the way that you think you can get raw liver, go for it. And I think a really nice carnivore recipe for raw liver would be if you can do eggs and if you can do milk, which I can't. I can only do duck eggs. If you can do eggs and you can do milk, I would suggest getting like fresh from the udder milk from a raw sort, raw, fresh from the udder, like warm to the touch milk. Put that in a blender, maybe a cup or something. I would then put maybe 3/4 of a cup of the liver in it. I would maybe put 2 egg yolks in there. You could probably put a little bit of stevia in there if that is something you want to do. Or you can actually put some raw honey in there. I know some people like Mike, the Heal Your Gut guy, and some other people who do like the raw carnivore animal-based product lifestyle now. They're okay with honey. And I unfortunately am not. So you'll probably never see me use honey. You're afraid to try liver. I cooked chicken livers for my dog once and the smell was horrendous. Was thinking about grinding it up and putting it in meatballs. You can do that. And I was going to do that right now, actually. So I wanted to suggest something for people who are having trouble with like the flavor of liver, especially if you can't get local beef liver, because this local calf liver is so delicious. I am going to ferment a little bit of this like I typically do. Lately, because I'm moving and I'm in school, I have forgotten about it, and it's like a weird science experiment in my refrigerator, and I haven't gone near it. So there's like a pool of like sludge at the bottom of my mason jar, and like I have a terrifying looking slab of beef in there. It's like terrifying. It's really not. I'm silly. So the other thing about eating raw liver is that it has a little crunch to it, almost like it had like chopped onions or something inside of it. It's really weird. Can you hear? Mm-hmm. You guys like my little red dot on my nose? I look like Rudolph. Other than the red dot on my nose, my skin is amazing since I've been using Daphne Rimmel's products. Ying Wai, I have fermented liver in the fridge since 3 months. I'm not brave enough to try it. I totally feel you. Do you want to see mine? Who wants to see my scary ferments? Okay, Ying Wai, I'll show you my scary ferments. And then I didn't forget, I know that I mentioned people who are having trouble with the flavor of chicken, even if they can't get local. I mean, if you can't get local chicken liver or calf liver, it can be a really disgusting smell when you cook it. It really can. So this is the beef. This is organic beef, and it's just like Kroger brand. Oh, it smells so bad. But wow, it's like really intense. That's the beef. That's about 2 months. And if I were able to eat cheese and stuff like that, maybe I would kind of be like, I'll like spread it on something or something. I mean, honestly, it doesn't look evil. It just smells really pungent. Eat, meat, sleep, rinse, and repeat. Did you name it? I didn't name it, but I might name it the homunculus? Homunculus? Oh. I don't know. It's gray and it's pink. It's not like green or fuzzy. I don't know. I've been I hired Enlivened Wellness. Her name is Tessa. She's a health coach. I hired her to help me walk through some stuff lately. She's an amazing health coach and very supportive person. And I wanted to show her this because she eats fermented meats a lot, and she's healing from SIRS. So I am saving this to kind of show it to her and be like, do you dare me? kind of thing. But hey, I wanted to give a suggestion on how to cook liver if you've never done it before. Anything over 4 weeks old you must name. That's funny. Okay, so what I do is, okay, so my kind of intro to YouTube was a support video. It was like a message to the vegetable police. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but if you have, remember in that video, I was like, carnivore healed me, and you should just let this guy do whatever he needs to do to help himself. And I was like, vegetable police, like, this is what I used to look like. This is what I look like now. This is like how I feel now. This is like how it's helped me so much. And I got to a point, I think I started carnivory around November, or maybe even earlier than that, November of 2017. So I've been at this for a long time. I've healed my skin, and I have healed major depression. And you know how major depression can like freeze frame your life, right? Well, I've done so many amazing things since starting to eat meat again. And so there are certain things that I'm eating now that are not included in a pure carnivory diet. But as you can see, I understand the benefits from eating raw liver or cooked liver or whatever like that. So what I've included, and at times I don't eat this, so it's not like an everyday thing, are things like macadamia nuts. I love those, but they are hard to digest, so I don't always eat them. But another one is I've been adding onions to my liver sometimes, just to give it that extra flavor. Did you ever struggle with sleeping on no carbs? Absolutely. That's a really good question. Yes, I absolutely did. I'll tell you more about it. So I've kind of burnt them because I've been doing a bunch of stuff all day, but I basically take the lard that I get from my local farmer, actually. This is Wedge Oak Farm. And I usually get Mangalista. Yeah, this is the Mangalista lard. Mangalista pigs are funny looking. They're like beautiful. They got long hair. They're fat. And they're just really, really like these wild, mystical creatures. I think they're a Hungarian breed. Anyway, I'll put lard in a pan, and I'll saute onions in the pan. And I'll take some liver. This is so good. I don't know why I want to cook it. All right, I'll cook it. I'm cooking it for you. So I'll take like, I don't know, maybe this is like 3/4 of a pound. I'm not so sure. Sometimes I think those guys at the butcher shop, at the meat counter at Whole Foods give me more than I ask for because nobody actually buys this stuff. So I'm going to put this in my pan. And even if I don't want to eat those onions, because, you know, when you saute onions, the sugar content in them increases. Even if I don't want to eat those onions, they add a really nice flavor to the lard that's in the pan. So the lard will retain some of that sweetness from the onion and kind of distract your taste buds from any weird bitterness or anything like that. But I'm telling you, like, this stuff does not taste bitter at all. Now, the first time I ever had chicken liver, I couldn't stand the smell. And this was when I was working with a chiropractor years ago. My skin was horrendous. And I was pretty much like going from a high raw, not high fermented raw, but high, like more of my food was raw vegetable stuffs. Like I would cry at the idea of sauteing down, cooking down like a beautiful leaf of rainbow chard. Like that would break my heart. I was so weird. But in my other videos, I talk about how we transfer our identity value onto foods and animals. So you can go back in my history and watch that. I'm just going to have another bite. So what we have to do though is like, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping all around the place. Oh, right. I wanted to talk about not sleeping well on zero carb. The first time I did zero carb was actually during an 8-day water fast. And I was slating this thing for 14 days. And this was when I was going back and forth from Stephanie Keto Person to Freely the Banana Girl. Can you imagine how fucked up that would be? I'm sorry if anybody's watching this who doesn't like cursing. I'm from Jersey, so sometimes it happens. But so anyway, this is organic beef. This is just like, I got to do what I got to do. Sometimes I can't get the farm stuff. Like I can't go directly to the farm. So this is what I get when I'm in a pinch. So you can just take a little meatball like this. Okay. And you can shove some of your liver in there. Just break it apart. Don't be afraid to get dirty. Come on, baby. Come on. Okay, we're just going to mush it up. Just do like I don't know. It's kind of like the peekaboo meatball. It's like a little sandwich, little liver sandwich. And just put it on your pan. That's it. The spices I use are salt and pepper. Sometimes I'll use like a chipotle seasoning or something. I don't get any weird reactions from that. Okay, anyway. I couldn't sleep when I was doing my water fast, my 8-day water fast. I couldn't sleep. I was so concerned about how to break my fast as well. I started my fast with my last meal. It was very vegetable rich, onions, broccoli, peppers, and a huge slab of salmon. And I don't think that I started my fast properly. But on day 8 of my 14-day water fast, I fainted and I cracked my chin on a countertop. And that terrified me because I was actually home alone. I was going to be home alone for several days. And I was like, okay, fuck this. I have to eat something. And I broke my fast with bone broth. And I felt amazing. But then I freaking went to a farmer's market and bought a case of dates because I was so messed up from the Freely messages. It was so messed up. Freely at this time, and I brought this up to see Siren Janine in chat about her latest Freely video, that Freely at that time was doing a lot of self exploration since she broke up with Harley. And I was like, wow, so this girl gets me. Whereas Stephanie Keto Person, like, I don't think that she gets all the emotional, the emotional world that I'm coming from and all that. And I actually hired Stephanie Keto as a health coach before I did my fast. So like, there's just like a lot of this like confusing personality dynamics that it's like, I felt so needing to align with them. And that's why I can really understand why this Allie girl that came out of left field to talk about her experience with Spedia. Anyway. Like I really understand her coming from a brainwash dynamic where she has to find an identity, even if it's like conscious to her. Like there still may be very unconscious desires for acceptance and identity seeking and shit like that make people like us. Because I was raised with a lot of brainwashing. Growing up between 2 homes, you get brainwashing just from that. But I had a lot of like intense like demands for alignment on either sides, both sides of my parental homes. It was very sad. Eat, meat, sleep, rinse, and repeat. I've tried everything, can't get REM sleep. Well, okay. So I guess are you on 0 carb? I'm just going to address this dude because I think this is really important stuff. So you're asking me how to get into deeper sleep. There's a lot of things that you can do. What are you eating right now? Like, what's the environment you're expecting yourself to sleep in? Do you have light around you when you're trying to sleep? He or she said, are you a guy or a girl? I think from your image, you're a guy. Yeah. Extra Salty is asking, are you consuming caffeine? That's a really good thing to think about. Buy a chainmail sleeping gown and you'll sleep like a baby. I don't know what that means. I'm a guy. Okay, you're a guy. Are you exercising? Sometimes you have to look at yourself like you're a work. Oh, I left the liver on the. Okay. Sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, that's it after it flips. Okay, a very gentle heat. And this is my little liver meatball on the side there. Okay, enough of that. It's on a very low electrical stove heat. It's at like 2 out of 8. So just to let you know. But if you're a dude and you're building muscle and you are eating high caloric foods, you're going to need to implement some exercise. Sorry to break it to you. So tell me about your exercise routine. I have comp stuff. I don't know what that means. What does COMT stuff mean? I don't know. But listen, I'm not giving advice because I'm not a doctor. Don't claim to be one here on TV. But if you're sleeping in an environment where you don't feel safe, that could be really difficult for sleeping deeply. Like I used to sleep in a studio with a raised bed in the middle of this giant shoebox, and it felt weird to me and I couldn't sleep properly. So I took partitions and I built myself like a little cubby, like a little room out of it. When I have trouble sleeping, I make sure that I increase my exercise, but I also make sure that I do a little bit of cardio, especially if I'm experiencing anxiety at nighttime when I'm trying to sleep. And the reason for this is just based on my own opinions from my experience. But contracting the muscle during intense weightlifting, I think can trigger some people who are dealing with stress and don't have very good coping mechanisms for that. What I mean by trigger is not like you turn into a social justice warrior. I mean triggered like your body might be looking for another excuse to bear down and contract muscle. You may be building associations with, gotta build my muscle, gotta eat right, gotta do the right thing, gotta be the best that I can be, kind of like this military mentality. And that's a very stressful one. So check to see if you feel isolated in your exercise routines. Check to see if the things that you are eating, if they have histamine in them. And the way that I reduce histamine is this. So like I said, I'm using onions now to cook liver, and I'll show you something. All right, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here. Okay. Hi, I'm back. So if you take a look at an onion inside of a bag, this onion, like I passed on using this onion because now that it has cuts in it, it's very porous. And any kind of material that creates gas from this in conjunction with the enzymes that are being produced from this can contribute to a breakdown and an infusion of plastics and toxic gases inside of the onion. And that basically enhances the histamine response that you'll get from it. So the longer you have an onion in a bag, or even an onion just kind of in your fridge, not protected by air, the higher of a histamine response you can get. which can include an inability to sleep. So there's that. I used to think that chia seeds, when I was a vegan, I used to think that chia seeds were a miracle cure for everything because they made me have so much energy late at night. And I did, I would consume chia seeds before going on long, like 3-mile runs. And I did this like every day. I would run like fasted and I would chug a bunch of chia seeds with water and I'd be like, yeah. And I think there was something wrong with me. I mean, I did feel a boost of energy, but it was a high anxiety energy. And I'm thinking maybe the storage of those chia seeds increased their histamine. I don't know. I don't have science on that. Like I said, I don't claim to be. I don't claim to be one. Whatever. So, yeah, chia cocaine. So yeah, I just wanted to share how I like to cook liver, how I like to eat liver. I'm so happy that I got on here and had some raw liver. Like, that just makes my day. If low carb is the problem, increase it up to 50 grams a day. Now, 50 might be a little too harsh for somebody. 50 might actually be a little too harsh for somebody. Now, Extra Salty is saying glass of warm milk with honey to go to bed. Honey could keep somebody up. Yeah, honey can keep somebody up. Honey can also create a histamine response. I like what Sea Siren Janine was saying in a conversation she had with Tristan from Primal Edge recently. And it was like, was it Tristan? I think it was Carnival. She was saying, just do something at home that eliminates the purchasing of some highly processed product out there. Something that, like, do something that eliminates your need to rely on somebody else's good nature and goodwill and good intentions around product making. Like, you have product control in your house. This is a whole food. This is a wonderful whole food for my health needs. And I go and I get it as the best way I know how. I can go to the farm, but I choose to go to my Whole Foods market and I choose to go to the farmer's market when they come. So, yeah, that's just how I do it. Yeah. And now I'm starting to get my skincare products from Daphne, who makes them from things that she's highly sourced, she's transparent about, and I love that. One other thing I wanted to show you before I head out, and thank you guys for having lunch with me, was that I keep all bacon grease beside my stove, and this is what I use to cook with. If it's not coming from the prepackaged mango lard that I get from my farmer, then it's coming from just the drippings from my bacon. And I just have this on my stove and it just adds. Oh my God, when I was vegan and I used to live with my mom temporarily during a kidney donation I was doing. My husband at the time and myself, we lived there because she was being nice and like helping us kind of prepare for this donation. Otherwise, I'd be living on I was like living on my own since like 18. So, but anyway, there was something missing in my vegan diet and I couldn't understand what it was. Of course, there was a lot missing. But I used to think maybe it's the spices my mom used. Maybe it's the brands that she bought since I was a kid that made me feel good that I can't really buy now because I don't want to eat wheat or dairy or You know, like chicken eggs, all the things, all the things. And I remember losing a sense of belonging because that satisfaction from my mom cooking. I mean, she's half Italian and half Greek. She used to make marinara sauce every week. She used to buy a big loaf of bread, stick it in the sauce while she was eating, and I'd beg her, "Can I please have a piece of bread?" Put butter on it, put it in the. There are these traditions that lost their nutritional concepts for us, but it's those traditions that satisfy us, and that's why we're so sick, because we maintain these traditions that we don't understand. Sorry, I live kind of close to an airport. Melted bone marrow fat is great too. Yes, it is. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, I love. Yeah. So anyway, things like this. When I eventually have a family of my own, I'm a late bloomer, so it might take a while. But when I do, my my whole mission is to create traditions that make sense, so that we're informed, so that my family is informed as to what they're doing, what kind of things they're doing to benefiting themselves. It used to be, if you're depressed, you open up a gallon of ice cream like they did on 90210 and sat and complained about your boyfriend problems with your mom. But that wasn't healthy for us. I mean, maybe if you churned it at home or whatever, but out of your cow's milk or whatever. But it's the togetherness that we are missing now. That's why I like Primal Edge's stuff, the whole eat meat, make families thing. We're missing the point of these traditions. We're missing them entirely. Now the tradition is my mom makes pancakes out of Bisquick on Sundays. Or we go to the carnival and we get giant funnel cakes and we ride around and try not to puke. Like, I don't know. It's just silly. But you know what I mean? Like, our traditions are more like who we're buying our Christmas gifts for, throwing gift cards at one another instead of making things, If people have a sense of why they're doing things, they know why they're continuing it. Yeah. 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 All right. Well, this was a cool live stream. I got some raw liver in. I got my cooked liver and my little meatball that I made. This stuff is really easy. It's really easy to do. And you don't need to eat these onions. If you needed help with onions for flavor, you really don't need to eat them. Okay? Just shove them off to the side. And also, when you're cooking any kind of meat, if it's on a low heat and you want to check, like, is it cooking through or what? Because it can be intimidating to start eating meat again or at all. But if there are little pools of blood that come up to the surface, you know that you're heating through the meat. So once a little pool of interstitial fluid comes up to the surface, you can consider that like rare, almost getting into medium rare. Okay. So let's try some liver. Let's try some cooked liver. I didn't put any salt or pepper or garlic powder or anything on it. This is just strictly from the onion. Look, a little piece of onion got on there. So this looks more like muscle meat this way. Okay, it looks like it could be a burger, but when you try to twist it, it has a different kind of, what is the word? Buoyancy? Look, bouncy, bouncy. It's a little bouncy. I like it. I love onions. Do you eat onions? Eat, meat, sleep, rinse, and repeat. Do you eat onions? Because I thought you were zero carb. I wonder if that's a problem that you're having with your sleep. Anyway, I used to at least, but don't you get a lot of histamine response from that? From what? I wonder what you're talking about. Eat, meat, sleep, rinse, and repeat. It says here that you wrote, my cortisol skyrockets with 0 carb. Yeah, you may be in like a fight or flight, but I would recommend doing, be careful, Ashley. I would say I really experience lower cortisol when I take an Epsom salt bath and when I do self-care techniques that I'm learning in massage school, like taking a tennis ball and rolling it through your muscles. It helps release metabolic waste from your cell tissue. And that can really contribute to a more relaxed state. So think about that. Think about including like a massage routine at night before you go to bed, making sure that you have no light in your room. Maybe even getting like a, what are they called? A mask to sleep in. And you might benefit from lowering the heat a little bit in your house and having a heavier blanket. I don't know. Give it a try. Also, a little bit of magnesium, maybe. I don't know. Magnesium, potassium. Look it up. Google it. That's how I learned everything that's helping me. All right. Thanks again, guys. I'm going to head out. I'm going to pack up my lunch, do some studying because I have a long week ahead. Wish me luck with my move. And I wish you all wellness. I wish you all repeat and utter awesome wellness. And I have, you're welcome, Ying Wai. Also, and Herb Stomp, thanks. And John Keel Jones. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. But I will, if I don't get a chance to upload a recipe video for the pate, which is a really good idea, I will just email it to you. Okay? All right. If you want the recipe, put your email in the chat and I will get to you guys. All right. Thanks again. Thanks for all the support and the engagement, and let's get healthy together. Okay? Bye.